Okay, so moving on to my number 8 is Homeward Bound, which is a movie that just touches me deeply. It's got the adventure, it's got the comedy, it's got the sad moments.
Oh, does it ever have the comedy? I love
But
sassy.
like, it's the kind of sad moments that like hit you in the feel but don't break you, like Old Yeller. Or you like think you have to take antidepressants.
Obviously, you haven't watched Homeward Bound since after our dog died, because I did, and that hits you and tears you to pieces.
If you say so.
You're telling me his dog comes home when you think it's gonna die, but my dog can't?
Like you have Sassy voiced by Sally Field.
Oh my god, I love Sassy.
That's perfect. And
I love Sassy so much.
Chance is voiced by Michael J. Fox, who was in everything at that time.
Yes.
Like Michael J. Fox was just like.
Though Chance kind of got on my nerves.
He can be a little hyper. Like I found him more hyper in the sequel, which I mean, I don't even like to mention that often.
He was just a puppy.
Yeah, he was the puppy.
He was just a puppy. That's even why Shadow's like, all right, pup.
Shadow was the old dog, voiced by someone.
Yeah, voiced by someone.
Shit. Disclaimer, who did the voice of Shadow? It was a nice adventure movie that I like the scene with the bear. I like it's like cats rule and dogs drool. And then like the stakes really rose with the frickin' mountain lion. I was just like, oh my gosh. Like
Yeah.
it was like not so much a villain, but like a real obstacle. And like the mountain lion was hunting them down throughout the adventures. Just like we got to see this showdown with the mountain lion.
Yeah.
And it was cool, like how it was kind of like a turnaround to where the whole movie was just like, man, these dogs are stupid. The cat's doing it, and the finale is just these dogs outsmarting a giant cat.
Yeah.
Dogs rule and cats drool.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's great. It's a good feel-good movie. I love the main theme. It just touches my soul and puts me in like a chipper mood. And sometimes music speaks to me much better than a lot of other things in movies. And you spend just enough time with the kids to where you can relate to them and bond with them. But I do feel like after a while, like I don't even remember the parents. Another thing I liked was the three characters like each had to deal with their own obstacles. Like Sassy, like she's kind of full of herself, or then she like embarrasses herself while showing off, and she has to come to those terms.
Fall into the river.
Yeah. Chance is like too hyper eccentric, and then he gets caught in the dog pound, so like it causes him to cool his tools. Shadow has to face his own mortality and age and stuff like that. So like that's overall very good and makes Homeward Bound like one of my favorite Disney movies of all time.
It's also very quotable.
But
at least for me,
when I
love
reveal
Sassy.
the remaining 7, you'll see why it can't quite make it that high. Speaking of 7, your number 7 is The Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New Groove. That movie has it all, man. I mean, not enough to be really high up, but it does have it all.
It's definitely quotable.
It is quotable. It has the characters, both good and bad. It has, you know, it is funny. It is cute. And after a while, it takes a long while, you start rooting for Cusco.
Yeah.
It takes a long while.
It does.
I spend pretty much half the movie rooting for Pacha and Crunk.
Yeah.
And then I start rooting for Cusco towards the end.
That finale for me has me in tears of laughter to this day when they're just going through all the vials, just like, I hate the ones you're picking. I pick the next one. Fine by me. Give me that one. Don't you say a word.
Don't you say a word. Oh, please be something with wings.
Oh, please be something with wings. Uh-oh.
I also love Yzma.
I win.
The little kitty. I win. Is that my voice? Is that my voice?
I think I like it that it like goes with the comedy and it's so fast. Like you're laughing so much and you miss the next 3 jokes.
Yeah. I even like Pacha's family. His kids do get irritating, but
I think that's the point.
I love the family. I especially love the wife.
I think you're more of my great. Oh, you finished. Great aunt.
Great aunt.
Yeah, Pacha's wife is like a very underappreciated character.
She is.
Like a lot of people don't realize like how clever she is. Like she's a pregnant mother.
She used the frying pan as a weapon before Tangled did.
Oh yeah, she did. Well,
not a lot of people.
She used it once.
That.
Whereas
Still.
Like, Rapunzel
Still,
had that in
she
her
thought
equipment.
to use it as a weapon. Well, Rapunzel didn't have much to work with. She was locked in the tower. But yeah, you got the comedy, you got the... I love the old man. You don't see that much of him, but I do love him.
Oh, the one voiced by Piglet?
Yes. Poor old dude's just trying to dance. You threw off my groove. I'm sorry, but you thrown off the Emperor's groove. Sorry! He's just trying to dance, man.
It shows how petty Cusco is.
I also love... This is one of the things that I love about, like, movies, TV shows in general. I absolutely love when they break the fourth wall. Yeah. And they do that a lot.
Yeah, they stop the movie on numerous times.
Yes, they do. And the funniest one is when it's like, hey, how'd they get here before us?
Oh, you got me. Well, it counts, it doesn't really make sense.
Pull down the chart. Oh, it counts, it doesn't really make sense.
God rest Eartha Kitt.
Krunk's...
Like, she was made for that role.
Oh, yeah. Krunk's little devil and angel. I love them, too.
Alright, moving on to my number 7 is a Goofy movie. Now, see, a Goofy movie is a very enjoyable movie for me because it's not one that you quite remember at first, but then you go back and watch it and you realize just how enjoyable it is. Of, like, the perfect father-son movie. Like, you got a lot of movies that are, like, about the mother and the daughter, the whole Princess Diaries thing with the grandmother and whatever. Very few do you have a father-son movie where the father doesn't kick the bucket.
Not that I'm saying it is better than a Goofy movie, because it's not, but Hercules.
Well, it's not really about the bond between the father and the son, though.
He's trying to be a god so he can be with his father again.
But his father doesn't do jack shit, he's just like, you gotta be a god.
He's Zeus. What do you want from him? He sucks.
Well, there you go. Like,
At least in
a
Greek
Goofy
mythology,
movie is
he
about
sucks.
Goofy overcoming his flaws to bond with his son, Max
Trying to.
overcoming his flaws to try and bond with his father because he's trying to grow up and like be his own man. Like
Yeah.
he's not Goof Troop anymore.
I know.
Whereas Goofy still wants it to be the Goof Troop.
I know.
Like all the songs are good. I mean,
Oh yeah,
all
the
of
songs
them.
are good.
On the Open Road, Eye to
That
Eye.
one's just kind of funny.
After Today's a great one.
I don't remember that one.
After Today's the one that like feels like Grease.
Oh.
And
Okay.
stands out my personal favorite.
Stand out I love.
The nice thing about Goof Troop and a Goofy movie in general is like it's the one time where Pete is still an asshole, but he's not the villain.
Yeah.
He's just like kind of like the deadbeat dad who's kind of like kind of like doing what I can. Check the map, Goof.
Yeah.
Like there's some very adult themes in there. Like as funny as it can be, like there's Goofy thinking that Pete's lying to him because he can't believe that his son would change the map on him.
Oh
When
yeah.
in actuality, like he did do that. Like
Yeah, he did.
he's like, I don't believe you, Pete. And it's all about coming to grasp with letting go of your children and letting them grow
Yeah.
up.
See, besides the song, the most memorable part of that movie for me is when he's yelling at his father. You know, he's grown up now and he just wants his own life.
Oh yeah, and
Goofy's
Goofy
just
goes,
like,
I know that. I just wanted to be a part of it.
I just want to be a part of it. Oh,
Oh, yeah,
that's one that hits you in the
right in
feels.
the childhood.
Does Disney ever know how to hit you right in the feels?
Yeah, they got that good. The
They-
only part of
they
that
got
movie
that.
I don't like is the Bigfoot part. Like, to this
Nah,
day,
no.
I skip that bit because I'm just like, I don't care. It's not funny to me. It's just kind of like out there. It's quirky, but eh. So that is the one thing that keeps this movie relatively low.
I know everyone
is...
loves the cheese-loving dude, but I kind of find him slightly annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Quite annoying.
Well, he hasn't been in, like, any other movie since. Like, that's the one movie where people can tolerate him, so... Gotta give the guy some credit. A little smoke it!
Yeah, there's like some sort of meme or whatever that he like figured something out, so Disney like got rid of him because he knows too much.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I heard
what?
about that.
Okay, sure. He knows too much. Get rid of him.
It has the most relatable themes, I'd say, of pretty much all the Disney movies, and that's what gets it in my top 10. Alright, moving on to your number 6, Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my god, I love Lilo and Stitch. That movie is quotable. Like, I think I could probably quote the entire movie. Not going to
Alright.
right now, but that movie is quotable, and I really like the relationship between Lilo and Nani.
Yeah.
See, Nani is another one. She does not get nearly enough credit for being the fantastic Disney woman that she is.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And
Like, she
Parents-
constantly gets overshadowed by every other character in
yeah,
that
exactly.
movie.
and they're not even doing that much remarkable
People talk more
stuff.
about Jumba than Nani.
I know, right? Their parents died, and she could have just been like, okay, child services can take Lilo, find her a nice foster home, and I'll visit her when I can. No, she takes her sister, and she wants to keep her sister so that they can keep their broken family, one of the greatest quotes ever, Ohana, so that they can keep that intact. And even when, you know, they fight and she gets all upset, like there was apparently a deleted scene where it's like, you know, Lilo's talking about how she was actually going to be replaced with a rabbit, and Nani's like, no. And they took that out because it seemed too much like Nani was actually Lilo's mother.
Oh, jeez.
But, you know, if you'd watched the entire movie and you would have left that in, you would have known she's not the mother.
Yeah, so...
You would have got that, so why wouldn't you just leave it in?
Oh, well.
But they also had the
runtime.
Aloha Oi moment, which was lovely.
Okay, so other than the daughter and, I fell for it. The sisters. Other than the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants, what else in the movie did you like? Because there's so many more characters. Nani and Lilo are just a third of the movie.
3, 2, 1. Stitch!
Yeah. So you like Stitch, huh?
Stitch, all around Stitch. I love Stitch. He's one of my favorite Disney characters ever. He's adorable. He is funny. He is feisty. He is cool.
He was very trending. I think of trending characters like he's in the top 5.
I don't really like trends
Disney
or follow
characters.
them, but I do love Stitch.
He's on everything, from mittens to magnets to...
I know he is. You got me a magnet.
Gasmits and gizmos aplenty. Like, his trailers were like very like, what on earth? Because they like reanimated like classic Disney scenes and spliced Stitched in there, and I'm just like, we're getting bold.
Yes, they did.
Because it was kind of the equivalent of like the young rebel coming
Belle
in,
and the Beast
showing
are
like
dancing,
the classics,
and all of a
how
sudden
it's
he's
going.
up there with the naked babies going, ooh.
So like it was very risky, the marketing. Because it was just like the young, it's like, oh, let me show you how it's done. You guys are old school. Here comes Stitch to show you the new school. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But the movie did have good heart to accompany with the comedy. I'll tell you another character that I like that not a lot of people mention. The Grand Councilwoman. Oh my god. Like the fact that like she's just like, will someone just capture this damn thing? Yeah. And then at the very end she's like, good! Get it on my ship. And then like she has a moment of heart and says it'll be under the galactic custody. And then she does my favorite line of the movie is, don't let those two on my ship. Because you've seen the crap these two characters.
I wouldn't say my favorite line of the whole movie, but that is my favorite line by her. Is just, don't let those two on my ship. Don't let those two on my ship.
And like she's like waving friendly in the...
Yeah.
Captain Gantu's pretty cool, but
yeah, I like how it's like Lilo basically explains stealing to her, and she's like, okay, well, we're aliens, we're not that horrible, we're just, you know, different. I'm not going to steal him if you own him.
That was the nice thing too about the Grand Councilwoman, was you actually saw this bridge be formed to where, like, yes, Jumba and Pleakley were comedy, but to Lilo and them, they were still like a menacing threat. They were the antagonists. Yes, and then Gantu was like the real antagonist.
But yes,
so we finally reached the Grand Councilwoman where you realize that no, we're not really the bad guys. We just have our own problems and issues that we're trying to resolve here. We're not trying to be malicious about it. This is just how we handle things. Yeah. And there was this like coming down to Lilo's level.
These are the rules we abide by.
Yeah, these are the rules we abide by.
And then Lilo's like, okay, well, these are the rules on Earth.
Yeah.
You can't steal. And she's like, all right, then I'm not stealing. But, you know, he's still an alien, so we're gonna have to protect you.
Yeah. Because we don't know what the hell
And of course, Cobra Bubbles.
Cobra Bubbles, oh my god.
Cobra Bubbles. My god.
Your knuckles say Cobra.
Your knuckles Cobra. And Lilo. I love Lilo just because she is probably the weirdest Disney character.
Yeah, she's up there.
Human Disney character. The weirdest, and she doesn't hide it. That little girl is like 5 years old, and she is lonely and depressed and weird, all around unique. That little girl might be 5, but she's my freaking role model. Just be yourself. If they can't deal with it, well, don't actually jump on them and punch them and bite them like she did.
So, like, what is it about Lilo and Stitch that just missed your top 5?
Completely annoys me.
Huh.
That in a nutshell.
Okay, moving on to my number 6 is Tarzan.
Tarzan.
An amazing movie. Like, I didn't think I'd like it as much, but it's a movie that gets better each time I watch it because it has the bond between the characters in the jungle, the bond between the human characters. You have a villain that shows you the dangers of the jungle, the dangers of humanity. You got Kerjack, who is a very interesting character. The more you watch him, you understand like why he is the way he is, why he's so strict, and why even when he tries to give Tarzan just a little bit of push, like Tarzan takes advantage of it because he's so desperate in knowing more about the humans and he's in love with Jane. So like that's the one time where like it's like I kind of agree with Kerjack. And even like his mother Kala is like, no, for once, listen to Kerjack.
Yeah.
He knows the shit. And I guess this is an unpopular opinion now, but I still love all of Phil Collins' songs. I know there's kind of like this bitterness because Matt Stone and Trey Parker lost to Phil Collins and they were very petty about it.
I don't care.
At the Oscars, like they thought Blame Canada would win over You'll Be in My Heart, and I'm just like, who in their right mind thought that would honestly happen? Like, do people actually listen to You'll Be in My Heart, or do they, that Phil Collins wrote it and they're just like, that can't be better than Blame Canada? That's just my personal opinion.
Canada. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's from the South Park movie.
No.
I know, that's what I'm like. I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad song, but
I quit on
compared to You'll Be in My Heart
years ago.
Another good thing about Tarzan is how they took advantage of like tree surfing. That was invented with that movie. Like the director watched his son, who was a skateboarder, filmed footage of him, and tried to incorporate that into Tarzan, where it's like it's not just swinging on the vines. He's acrobating throughout the whole thing. The chase with the monkeys with Jane is like action-packed. It's intense. Like it's fast. It's fast, fluid, beautiful animation. When an action scene happens, you have to like watch it twice just to realize what the hell's going on.
Right.
The scene that hits me in the feels the most is when he goes to the cottage and Kala shows him who he is and explains everything. And he comes out with the suit and she just breaks down, crying. Because she's like, yeah, I know, this is the decision he's going to make. He wants to be with the humans. It took me a while, but Turk does not bother me nearly as much as she used to. I've kind of been desensitized to her. Him. What? I think it's a her. I'm gonna kill him!
It's a her.
I do think Tantor's funnier, though.
Yes.
In every scene he's in.
I had the opposite effect.
I've had it with your emotional constipation! The action. The music. The villain, though predictable, I kind of like it because it does show that if we didn't have Clayton as a villain, he would be way too attached to humans over the apes.
Right.
Because that's the point he was getting to, where it's just like, screw these apes. I got humans now. They're more like me. They're where I belong.
Right.
And like it helped him finish that resolution with Kerjack. Even though it did cost Kerjack his life, it did finish that revolution because it was just like, okay, you were right. There was like, take that away, and if Clayton wasn't a villain, he'd just be like, well, Kerjack's an asshole. Humans don't have assholes, so I'll stick with them.
Yeah.
Having Clayton like take that stance.
For a while though, it seemed like he was teaching him to turn on them.
Yeah.
Like not exactly teaching him, you know, what gorillas are and everything so that he'll lead them to them.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like trying to teach them that they are ferocious beasts that need to be killed.
Yeah, that you're above them.
Yeah, that you're above them. Because like every time he showed a picture of them or whatever, they looked evil.
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah, they were ferocious.
Yeah, they were ferocious. So he was trying to actually turn Tarzan.
It's an absolutely beautiful movie, and I love Jane. She's a fantastic love interest.
Jane. I love her
oh
father
my God,
too.
She's
hilarious.
She cracks me
but
up.
I love
She's
Jane.
Beautiful. She's humorous. She.
Oh my goodness! I never stop laughing when she's like,
so
"Oh, put me down!
Yeah.
Put me down!
Pick me up,
Pick me up! Pick me up! Pick me up!"
Yeah, just a great character. So yeah, Tarzan, like what makes
it's like all he's doing is sniffing around like monkeys do, trying to, you know, get a feel for what this thing is.
What makes Tarzan
and
not make the top 5?
And she's like, "Oh, go
and
away."
The one thing I don't like is Trashing in the Camp.
Meh.
I don't like that song. That is the one song I'm just like,
I
oh
used
boy.
to.
Skip through it.
It
was catchy, I'll give it that, but you
catchy.
do realize that it stop. The movie just comes to a complete halt. No.
I don't think they needed a whole song just for, okay, the gorillas came across the camp and they're messing with things. Like, you could have just showed them messing with things and then, you know, showed, I think it's Tarzan, who, like, walks up and introduced them to Jane.
Yep.
Didn't need the whole song for that.
But the Tarzan, great movie. Moving on to your number 5, Homeward Bound. What would you like to add to Homeward Bound that I've already said? Let's make this quick since we already talked about it.
Well, I pretty much put, like, the stepfather thing that I really liked, how they were building that relationship. I talked about that when we were
Yeah, I forgot about that subplot.
I loved that.
That is a good one.
And it was mainly the older boy, because obviously he must have spent more time with his father. It was mainly the older boy who was like, no, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about our pets. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about anything. And then it's like, well, he's been trying to find them basically since they went missing. I love Sassy.
So basically just an echo and I love Sassy.
Yes, I love Sassy.
Okay, that's fine. We already talked about it, so we can just move on to the
You're
next one.
kitty, kitty,
My